Can you tell us about the story behind your name?
Lucky Dube is a singer from South Africa. He is trying to make sense out of life, trying to send a message across to people everywhere in the world, and calling for unity amongst people, not just black people, but white people, green people, whatever people there are. That's who Lucky Dube is trying to bring together.
Can you tell us about the story behind your name?
I said, hey, I didn't think about that because they said, well, how do you pronounce it?
Well, Lucky is my name, like James, and Dube is my last name, as in Hanson. I got the name Lucky because my mother didn't have children for a long time, and finally she got a boy, and when he was about 3 months, he got very sick and he died. And so when I was born, there was that little break again, long break. And when my mother finally got me, I also got sick, very sick, and they thought I'm gonna die too. And so I didn't have a name until I was maybe about 6 months old. They would just call me the boy or the child. And then I didn't die, and so they said, well, he's very lucky, he's a very lucky boy, and they called me Lucky. And that's how I got the name Lucky. But Dube is my last name.
You started with Zulu music. What led you to transition to reggae?
Is that how you pronounce it?
Mbaqanga.
Mbaqanga.
Yeah. Well, I think it happened about 1984. That was the first time I released a reggae album. But from 1979 up to 1984, I was doing Mbaqanga. The change came in 1984.
How would you describe your experience in the music industry? Is it anything like Sarafina?
Well, yes, the Sarafina type style, yes. And Mashatini and them. Yeah, that was the kind of music I was doing before.
Did you ever incorporate dance into your performances?
Oh yes, that's where maybe the dancing started, because you cannot just do that music without dancing, because it's just very vibey music, and it's got a nice beat to it, and you have to dance, So I was dancing, quite a lot, even then.
Since the end of apartheid, how has your life and music evolved?
Well, so far, politically, there hasn't been any really big change, except for the fact that as a musician, I now have the right to sing and talk about anything that I want to sing and talk about without any fear of being arrested or chased around with police, and stuff like that. I can sing and talk about whatever I want to sing and talk about with no fear.
Do you perform both in South Africa and internationally?
Yeah.
In Johannesburg or Soweto?
Yeah, around Johannesburg, and I've done some shows in Natal, which is the Zululand side of it.
Do you identify as Zulu? How does your heritage influence your music?
I am just human.
Okay, I like that. What is happening to that Sun City that was so popular for a while that there was?
Well, it is still very popular, but now the thing is that Mangope is no more there. The president, Mangope, is no more there. So that has been, I think, taken back into South Africa, which is, it was South Africa before. But apparently people were not happy there about Mangope, and people, when the whole of South Africa was voting, the people in Maputo Tswana wanted to vote as well, but Mangope wouldn't let them. And so maybe that's when the people decided they don't want him anymore. But it's still popular.
What led you to transition to reggae? What is the central message or hope behind your music?
The hope of the music is, of course, that of getting people together. People have been separated for a long time. And I do music for three reasons. I do music to entertain, to educate, and to unite people. That is me and my music.
How has Peter Tosh influenced your musical style?
Well, Peter Tosh was basically the reason really behind my getting into reggae, because when I first heard Peter Tosh, I really liked his music and I liked his message. Basically everything about Peter Tosh really was great. He is still, even today, the foundation of what I'm doing.
When did you embrace Rastafarianism, and what does it mean to you?
When I was doing standard 8 at school, I was doing some work in the library, in the school's library, and that's when I started. I found an encyclopedia that was talking about reggae music and about Rastafarianism, and I just liked the way of life. What I read about was Rastafarianism being a way of life, not a religion, and that's what I really liked, just the way of life, you know. Even though today being a Rasta means smoking ganja, and meaning that to have dreadlocks and play reggae music, to some people that's what being a Rasta means, you know.
And what does it mean to you?
To me, it's about consciousness, be it socially or politically, you know. It's basically consciousness.
Your music tackles deep social issues. How do you bring these messages into your songs?
Well, I write my music about people. I write my music about myself. I write music about real things that are happening, you know, to real people. There's no song that I have written that is just an imaginary thing, you know. So all the things that I write about are things that people relate to, are things that have happened to people one time or another.
With such a busy schedule, how do you find time to arrange and compose your music?
Well, I think that's about the best time of writing my music, because I meet a lot of different people, different cultures and stuff, and that's where the inspiration comes from, because I write my songs about people, and so meeting different people kind of inspires, you know, me quite a lot. Yeah. And like now Trinity is out, but I have already started writing material for the next album.
What inspired the concept behind your album Trinity?
Trinity talks about education. I found that in South Africa with the new government, to me it meant time for education. Black people were going to educate white people, and white people were going to educate black people, because we did not really know much about each other in the past, except the fact that black people thought of white people as oppressors, and white people thought of black people as criminals. And so with Trinity, like I said, it's the three reasons that I do music: to educate, to entertain, and to unite. But Trinity comes in with the education part now, where we're going to educate each other about the different cultures that we have, about all the different things that we have about each other, not just criminals and oppressors. Trinity is about education.
Can you give us a hint about the theme of your next album?
I wouldn't really know, but at the moment I'm just putting material together, and yeah, whatever ideas that are coming in and whatever I see happening, you know. But I wouldn't know what the album will be about until it's done, you know. Yeah, because that's how it has always worked over the years.
The titles of your songs are very compelling. What inspires them? Where is your next performance after this event?
Say that
Thank
is
you very
something
much.
that
Thank you very much. Well, we now have just about a week in America. We've been here for a month and a half,
Okay.
and we just have about a week now left before we go back home. But we're only going back for 2 weeks. We're gonna do some shows in Botswana, and after the 2 weeks, we come back here again to do some shows in South America for a month.
Great.
Yeah.
You know, you are one of the few.
As a leading figure in roots reggae, how do people react to your music? Do they encourage you to keep going?
Yes. Yes.
That they're glad to see this continuous.
Yeah. That I'm still playing roots music, but that's the way maybe I want to keep it, and that's the way maybe this Peter Toshism is working, inside me, because I cannot think of any other way of expressing myself, except the roots style. I still like the real stuff, the Bob Marley, Peter Tosh style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With this interview, I hope to make more people aware of the roots reggae movement. Do you believe roots reggae will continue to thrive?